Mercedes were huge losers at the Bahrain Grand Prix. They started P6 and P7 after qualifying, believing they could challenge the Ferraris for a spot at the podium. But that did not happen. It was Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin which ended up at the podium spot after showing unbelievable race pace. The emerging picture from this is Mercedes has huge problems within its W14, which they should solve within the coming few races if they have any hopes of competing for both championships this season. Want to find out what the underlying problems of the W14 are? Then stick around till the end of the video. The season's opening race at Bahrain, according to Toto Wolff, was one of the worst days in racing for the Silver Arrows. Mercedes was expecting Red Bull to be at the head of the field, but one thing they did not expect was to get jumped by the Aston Martins during the race at Sakir. Watching the Bahrain race closely, even with the aid of DRS, you can see that either Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton or George Russell were not able to overtake the Ferraris or the Aston Martins. That showed the W14 has major issues, and the W14 is not competitive as the team would have hoped of. After finishing P5 at the Bahrain Grand Prix, Hamilton told he was not worried to an extreme extent, but told the team should continue to push the W14's car development to close the gap to the leaders. Concerned wouldn't be the word, Hamilton said. I don't really want to say too much, we've got to keep working, we know we're not where we need to be and we know that this isn't the right car, it's a difficult one. I've just got to try and stay positive and keep pushing the guys, keep trying to be a positive light for them and get the best points I can. So, what is really wrong with the W14? What are the problems within the W14, which is making the car so uncompetitive in the Formula 1 grid? The team was able to cure the porpoising issue out of its car, but yet, the Silver Arrows car is around 7/10 slower than the leading Red Bull on average. The aerodynamic package of the W14 seemed to be the major problem of the car. Mercedes have yet implemented the team's unique aerodynamic concept on the W14, with the narrow side pods included. During the 3 days of testing, it seemed though the team has taken huge steps forward in terms of producing a stable platform for the drivers to drive on track. But the team of engineers back at Brackley have not made the required performance gains for the team to be competitive once more. After driving the W14 at the Bahrain International Circuit, Hamilton told that the car is not where it needs to be, but the stable platform of the W14 could mean that the team could focus on unlocking more performance. Now we can focus on just pure performance, and I'm encouraged to see just the focus and the courage of everyone within the team. They're so focused on getting us back to the top. We're not where we wanted to be at the start of the season. Even though the team tried to make some changes to the W14 from testing to the season's opening race at Bahrain, it could not make significant performance gains, while the problems of the W14 kept disturbing its driver. So, what were those problems within the W14 plaguing the team and its drivers? First problem of the W14 is its straight-line speed. As we all saw during the Bahrain Grand Prix, the W14 lacked the straight-line speed of its rivals. This issue seems to be present on all Mercedes-powered F1 cars. Even the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso was not able to match the top speed of Ferraris and Red Bulls. This can be due to two reasons. One reason is the aerodynamic drag the W14 has, and the second reason is the Mercedes power unit. Mercedes has always said that the W13 is a draggy car. Toto Wolff once mentioned that the rear of the car is like a barn door. It seems though the team has carried over those design traits over to the W14 over the winter break. The Silver Arrows have always defended the performance of its power unit, but when we take a look at the top speed numbers, there definitely to be a small problem which could relate to the Mercedes power unit. The W14 seems to have the setup and balance issues that troubled the team during pre-season testing, as we witnessed both drivers losing more time to their rivals on the second and third sectors of the Bahrain circuit, which could mean the rear instability issue of the W14 is still present, despite the team making major changes to the W14. Tire degradation of the W14 was high when compared to its rivals, such as the likes of Aston Martin. The high tire degradation of the W14 could be linked to the rear instability of the car, as the instability of the car could lead to the car sliding over the curbs, leading to high degradation. The W14 did have a problem regarding the levels of downforce generated by the car's underfloor. Toto Wolff once mentioned about the W14 facing an unusual loss of downforce, which we believe the team has rectified. But Lewis Hamilton did talk about the W14 lacking overall downforce throughout the testing and the Grand Prix weekend, and mentioned that the lack of downforce could be a huge contributing factor to the team's lap time deficit to its rivals, and to the high tire degradation the W14 is facing. It was definitely better, but we are lacking overall downforce, particularly at the rear, said Hamilton. That's why we can't get on the power as early as the Red Bulls and Ferraris on a single lap, and that's why we struggle with deg. So it's the same story as you had in previous years. Before last year we had better rear-end grip. These are all the problems the W14 has, and Lewis Hamilton believes that the unique concept of the W14 is to blame. George Russell and Toto Wolff always backed the team's unique concept, but right after the race ended at Bahrain, Toto Wolff accepted that the team has been moving on the wrong direction in terms of car development of the W14 and demanded radical changes to the W14 to be made immediately. We're just lacking pace, front, right, and center. And that's the reflection of the tests. The Aston Martin is very fast, they deserve that. And Red Bull is just on a different planet. That is what hurts, he admits, because they're so far ahead. It reminds me of our best years where, we just put the second on everybody else. That is the benchmark. But we need to put one step after the other to just come back, and we can do that. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell both want the Mercedes engineers back at Brackley to sort out the underlying issues of the W14 and bring the car back to a competitive front to start fighting for race wins once again. George Russell went on to mention that he wants the team to deliver a race-winning car, at least by the 6th race of the season, if the team hopes to compete for championships this season. But what do you guys think? Is the unique concept of the W14 the problem Mercedes has to deal with? Will the team need to make radical changes to produce a silver bullet to close the gap to the leaders? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.